All right. Okay. So I'm Emma Napoleon, right side hitter on 6-year Rosh, and this is my teammate.
I'm Peyton, and I'm the outside hitter on 16 Rosh, and we just wanted to say thank you for taking the time out of your day to come speak with us.
And we all really look up to you and are really excited to ask you these questions. If you don't mind introducing yourself and telling us about you.
Yeah, of course. I'm really excited. I'm Kelsey Robinson. I'm an outside hitter for the USA national team. I'm currently playing in Istanbul, Turkey professionally for Fenerbahce, and this is my 7th professional year. I have a gold medal at the World Championships, bronze at the Olympics, and a silver medal at World Cup for the national teams. And I also am a club world champion, and I've won the Italian league and the Turkish league, and yeah, there's a lot of volleyball, but overall, heading into my second Olympics, I was supposed to head into my second Olympics this summer, which has obviously been postponed till next year.
Okay. So our first question is, what challenges have you had to overcome while playing volleyball?
It's a good question. Yeah, I think my career has kind of been one that overall I feel really lucky to be where I'm at, and I never really thought I would be here, just because growing up I heard a lot of like, you're too small, or you don't score enough, or you're just not the typical like big player that everyone looks for. Or thinks that you have to be to play volleyball. And I always really relied on my ball control skills and just making sure that I did the little things. I grew up in a basketball family, so my mom didn't know anything about volleyball. And so she would just tell me, defense wins championships. So just focus on your defense and your offense will come, kind of thing. And that little tip that she gave me kind of stuck with me the rest of my life, because I can really rely on my defense and my ball control to, it's gotten me on the national team, and it's gotten me to be one of the most successful players overseas at this point.
Nice. Our second question is, could you tell us your journey of becoming a well-known volleyball player?
Yeah. So like I said, I started off playing basketball. I loved basketball. And then in high school, around my junior year, I decided to just focus on volleyball. I kind of did it as like cross training for basketball, and really fell in love with the sport. And so ultimately that got me a scholarship to the University of Tennessee, where I played for 3 years. And then I transferred my senior year to the University of Nebraska. I finished my college career there, and then I went out to the national team, and I kind of had a torn shoulder at that point. So I was rehabbing from about like February to May, right out of college with the national team. And there was like one tournament, a very like not important tournament. You kind of bring people to get experience. And I remember being invited to that tournament, like first time ever wearing the USA jersey. And I like called my sister on my way home when I found out I made the roster and everything. And I was just like crying so much, because it meant like the world to me. I'd never really thought I would be there. And then it kind of like one thing led to the next. I played for USA for World Championships, and then I went to China, came back. We had World Cup, and then I went to Italy. And I think one thing led to the next, but something that makes you a really successful volleyball player professionally is being able to do all the skills. I think the college game is just, it's very different than the professional game. There's a lot of substitutions in college. A lot of girls specialize. Like, I'm just going to attack. I'm just going to set. Like, I'm going to pick 1 or 2 skills and do those really well. But I think when you get to the pro level, you have to do everything really well. There's less subs. Middles are required to serve. Liberos can't serve, like things like that. And the ball is also a big transition. It can be really tough for passers. So what I always tell people if they want to be successful professionally is number one, learn all the skills, no matter what position you are or what position you specialize in, be really good at everything. And number two, I think ball control, again, whether you're a middle or you're a setter or outside or a libero, having great ball control makes you really useful to your teams.
Okay. So our next question is, how did you overcome team conflicts?
That's a great question. I think being a great teammate requires a lot of patience. And so when there's conflicts, I think number one, you have to have patience. And number two, you have to communicate. If you have a problem, whether it's personal or as a team, you have to address it, because that small thing is just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's going to become toxic and take away from the ultimate goal, which is winning. And I think a lot of times professionally you don't really see that, just because, you know, we are at the highest level and everyone is here to win. You want to win. But growing up in high school and college, and there was a lot of tricky situations and a lot of personalities and stuff like that. And so I think just communicate, be patient, and try to help each other, because at the end of the day, the ultimate goal is winning.
Nice. Okay, so how do you keep your confidence while playing with other top level athletes?
Yeah, that's a really great question. When I first started off playing professionally, I was surrounded by Feluca, Jordan Larson, Alicia Glass, like some of the best players in the world. And it's really nerve-wracking. And you go in and you're playing next to them and you don't want to mess up, because you want to do well, you want to earn your spot. And so there's a lot of nerves that go there. But I think for me, my number one thing is breathing. When I can control my breath and get into the moment, I can focus on what my task at hand is. Like, what do I have to do next to win the next point? And it almost becomes like meditative when you're there in that space playing. You're just breathing, you're focusing on, okay, I have to pass, so what do I have to do to pass? And it's like one step after the next, and then you stop, you kind of block out the rest of it, all the noise, all the thoughts in your head. And number two is, I always used to like shut out the thoughts. If I had negative thoughts or if I got really nervous, I would, you know, try to like block the thoughts out. I would force them out, and it made me even more tense. And then kind of later in my career, I started doing a lot of work on the mental side of the game, and just learning to accept those thoughts. And that doesn't make them real or valid. It's just going to happen naturally. Like, those thoughts are going to come. And like for me, if it's like, you're not good enough, I just allow that thought to come in, and then I allow it to go out, because it doesn't hold space. It's not valid. I am good enough to be here. And once that's gone, I don't even care anymore. So breathing and allowing the thoughts to come in and leave.
Okay, nice. So how do you feel about this virus going around, and how are you affected by it?
It's definitely a weird time and a very tricky time. I think it's affecting a lot of lives, especially I was living in Europe and when it was first starting. And so a lot of people that I love in Italy were getting hit really hard. So first of all, I just like, all I want is for the safety of the world at this point. But on a personal standpoint, my league was postponed. So I don't know if we're going to finish at all. And then the Olympics were postponed until next summer. So all the things I had planned for and thought would go as scheduled are no longer going to do that. So that affects us with the Olympics, just because we had a lot of momentum. We were doing really well. And I know a lot of us were really excited to come back and have the games this summer. But ultimately, I think we're just looking at it from a positive standpoint and trying to be really grateful that they didn't cancel it altogether, and another year to train, another year to get better and stronger. So
Nice. What were the ups and downs of your career?
I think for me, the ups were just kind of my journey throughout this, and never really expecting to be here. I think, like I said earlier, it's just been a series of very fortunate events, and a lot of times I'm thinking like I'm not good enough or I don't deserve this. And so I'm really, really fortunate that, you know, like one thing led to the next, and obviously winning a gold medal, or, you know, winning Champions League, which is like the best of Europe professionally, and it has a lot, it's a very prestigious tournament to win every year. So those were big moments for me. But I think the thing that I love the most is how challenging it is to live overseas and work really hard and be in another country and be around people you don't really know and be away from your family. And every time I come home from a season, whether it was a successful season or not, I'm just really proud of putting in that work and having that life experience. And then the downs, I think, yeah, the downs are also being away from family and like being so far from home, or, you know, missing out on weddings or events or births or deaths even. And just like missing those parts of life, that's really difficult, but you just get through it.
Okay. So you already kind of mentioned like shutting out the negative thoughts from your head, but how do you shut out other people's opinions while playing?
Yeah, I think it kind of, those go hand in hand almost, because like my belief that I'm not good enough comes from maybe things I've heard, or, you know, other people's opinions of myself. And when I think about myself and when I think about what I've accomplished or what I've done or who I am as a person and a player, I'm really proud of that and I believe in myself. But I think other people's perceptions or other people's opinions can really get inside your head, you know, they can make way. And so it's like balancing that, like what's true and what's their belief kind of thing. But yeah, I think just allowing those thoughts to like come in, accept them, and leave them where they are at.
Nice. Okay, so we know you're an outside hitter. So what was your mindset like having to change positions from a libero to an outside hitter?
Yeah, I think that's really difficult because who are my liberos? Yeah. It's really hard to be a libero. I have a lot of respect for that position, and I've had some amazing liberos that I've gotten to play with, and I love them so much. But it's very difficult to go from being able to pass, to block, to serve, being able to do literally everything as an outside hitter, to having maybe like 3 to 4 things you can do as a libero. And so my mindset was just trying to find ways to give. Like, how can I give beyond passing and defense and covering and like the small things? Not the small things, but the volleyball things. Like, how can I give to this person? I know that, for example, like I know what players on our team that need like a lot of hype. They need a lot of talk. They need a lot of positive encouragement. And I know what players like Feluca, for example, she is in the zone when she's like joking around and like teasing and stuff, which is a little strange, but like I would just like make a small joke to Feluca, and then Jordan needs like more communication. And so I would just try to find different ways to elevate the people around me.
This is kind of like a big general question, but why do you love to play volleyball?
I love playing volleyball because I just love the team dynamic of it. Basketball, other sports, like one person can be really successful and help the team win, or have a big say in why the team wins kind of thing. But volleyball for me is like the ultimate team sport. Like you literally can't do anything without that person passing. Then you can't attack without the set. You know, it's just, you're so reliant on everyone else. And I think that brings a sense of unity, and like with your teammates, they become your family. And so I really love that aspect.
Do you have any advice for us?
Yeah, I would say, like I said, from volleyball standpoint, I would say really focus on being good in everything. Just having all the skills, because that'll make you a really successful collegiate player and then professional player. People who can do more than one thing are always really valued and wanted. As far as people, I would say do what you love and do it like with incredible passion, because like who you are at 15 and 20 and 25, like that's not who you're gonna be. So just do whatever you love and don't think about what anyone has to say, and just do it with so much passion, because that's the most important thing.
So when watching film, what specific things do you look at, and what should we pay attention to when watching film?
Yeah, I mean, I always try to think about, if I'm watching film, I would pick out one thing I want to get better at, and then I'm watching that specific thing. And so, for example, my footwork is a really big thing for me because I'm not as physical. So my feet have to be really, really good for my jump to work well and for me to be fast. They almost have to be perfect. So I'm always watching my feet. And then, but what I'm watching for is, like, let's say in practice, I did it 1 time out of 10 on Monday. Then 1 week later, I'm watching more and I'm doing it 4 times out of 10. And then 3 weeks later, I'm doing it 10 times out of 10. And so once I can repeat that 10 out of 10 for maybe 2 or 3 different times, then I'll move on to the next thing, if that makes sense.
Could you tell us about how your rehab process went? How were you mentally like affected by it?
So I'm probably not the best person with rehab, to be honest. I have only had some minor injuries here and there, some like small pains and aches, but as far as rehab goes, I think it's part of like the full package. Like, to be an elite player, you have to take care of yourself before the injury even happens, or before your body starts to like stop responding at some point. But like eating well, drinking lots of water, taking the right vitamins and supplements, stretching. Just, if you want to be successful professionally or even in college, like, you have to treat your body like your job, because it is. And so everything you put into it, all the training, it all is part of like the package.
Could you give us any inspirational words, like, or just like any quotes you like or anything?
So what are you guys, so is your season, it will start next September, right? Or this is club, right?
Yes.
Okay, so then you have JOs, or is that canceled?
I don't really know right now. It's like, I don't
Up in the air.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess my only inspirational words, which off the top of my head, would just be, like I said earlier, like, do what you love and do it with passion, because it's the only thing that matters. And I like truly believe that.
Do you have any mentors, like people that help you or anything?
My dad is a really big part of my life. He is who I've called like every day since I turned pro. Like, he just understands how hard it is to do this full time as a job. And so he's really like my rock in everything. And then my fiance he plays volleyball professionally as well. And so he like gets it as far as volleyball goes. So he's always like an eye that I use when I like need help.
So you kind of mentioned your transition from Tennessee to Nebraska. So how was that experience?
That was really difficult. I loved Tennessee, and I had really, really great memories and great moments there, and I loved the people. And so that decision was one of the harder decisions I've ever made. But ultimately, it was the right decision, and it got me to where I am, just being at Nebraska and having that experience. Sorry. Yeah, I did a like pros and cons list. I weighed all of those things, and I didn't take the decision very lightly. Just because I don't think the grass is always greener on the other side. I think a lot of people are transferring now these days. I think it's very common, and I just think when things are difficult, it's easy to like walk away from, but for me, that wasn't really the situation. So yeah, I think when you're making hard decisions, just take the time to weigh them and have the pros and cons, and also listen to your gut.
Nice. Cool. Okay. Does anyone else have any other questions?
Yeah.
No. Okay.
That's all the questions we have.
Okay,
Thank
great.
you for coming out to us and speaking to us.
Yeah, I hope I helped, or I don't know, gave you something good. I don't know. I'm sorry you guys have to go through all this. I know it's not easy, and like it's not a good feeling when JOs may be canceled or pushed back and all those things. So I know it's difficult, but the Zoom conferences and like staying together and hanging together are a great way to get through it.
So one more thing to add on. Every meetup we have like a short like 10-15 minute workout afterwards with everyone. So could you lead us in one right now?
In a workout.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I already worked out today, so I'm probably gonna have to deny the workout, but I did put a workout on my YouTube channel just last week, and it is a USA workout, and it's all body weight and stuff. So if you guys want to do that, I can text you the screenshot of it, and then you guys can all, or isn't there like a Zoom chat thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. I'm gonna send that to you. It's super easy to do, and it's what the girls in our gym are doing. So you guys would be doing a little USA workout.
Oh.
All right.
I already got sweaty today, so I was like, probably not gonna happen. Okay. Has anybody gotten creative with like at-home drills?
In my garage, with the like, you know, when the garage like comes up, there's like those like pillars, like those poles. So I've been doing like blocking drills with it because it's about the height of the net. So I've been just doing like blocking drills with it, and sometimes I hit my hand on like the metal part, so it hurts. But like it's like about the right height of the net, so I can do like eye work and just footwork and stuff like that. So that's been pretty
Great.
fun.
Why can't I do this? Okay. Peyton, I can just DM it to you. Does that work?
Yeah, that's good. I think I saw it too, the one with the cat.
Yeah. Wait, that was an Adidas one, but my cat is in everything.
Yeah, just you can send it to me. And also your Instagram page is great. So guys, like go check that out too, because it has a bunch of stuff on it. It's really cool.
Thank you. We do a lot of stuff on YouTube, and just because with volleyball professionally, you're overseas by yourself. Now my fiance comes with me, but you have a lot of time. So I think like that also is an important piece of advice. Like volleyball is amazing and it can be everything, but also have some nice balance and like be passionate about other things. Like have a little balance, because I think a lot of times people who retire from volleyball don't always know who they are, what they want to do after volleyball. So it's always nice to dabble in both things. But also I'm going to show you guys my cat because he's super cute. He's very fat. And his name is Guy, and he's from Turkey. Super sweet. And also I'm a crazy cat lady, so that's why.
I have a quick question. What was your major in college?
I was a journalism major. So that's why I like doing all the like YouTube videos and stuff.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. Anything else?
Do you have any like funny stories to tell us?
Yeah, so when I was playing in China, my first pro season was in China, and China is like, you train a ton, and it's very difficult for foreigners, so not a lot of people do it, but I didn't know that because I mean, college and like high school, they don't really tell you what professional volleyball is, so you're just like along for the ride. And I got there, and my apartment didn't have like fresh, clean water to like shower and bathe in and everything. It was like always coming out dirty and like really nasty. So every night I would go to the 7-Eleven like under my apartment, and I'd buy a gallon of water. And for 4 months, I would wash myself like that with the gallon of water and just like make it somehow. But I have like a ton of funny stories from China just because that was like a wild experience, but a lot of growing up, I guess.
That's insane.
How was the transition from college volleyball to professional volleyball? Because I know for us, like, we kind of get to know what college ball is going to be like compared to club and school and stuff. So what was the transition like for you going from school to professionally like playing?
Yeah, it was in a way nice because I didn't have school at all. So I could really just play and like be a professional. And so I really loved that aspect of it. But the days are very long. You have a lot of double days, and that becomes kind of normal. So a lot of like 4 to 5 hour days. With the national team, we go from like 8 to 10, we have weights, and then 10 to 12:30, I have practice. We can't do double days because the gym is too hot here in California. And then you'll probably have like a meeting or video or stuff. So I'll leave the gym around like 2, 3 o'clock, and that's my day. Professionally, it's like 2 hours in the morning, 3 in the afternoon, plus some video and stuff like that. So that aspect is really nice. The level of play is significantly higher and just more physical. It's faster. The ball is completely different. And so that was an adjustment for me. That was a big jump, but obviously once you're there, you get used to it.
This is kind of like a random one, but like now since you're in quarantine and like the Olympics were postponed, how many days a week do you work out?
So I still work out every day just because I don't want to like atrophy or like lose my muscle. So I like ordered weights off of Craigslist and stuff, and we like set up an at-home gym and are trying to do the best we can. But yeah, I'm working out. I'm trying to like mimic my days, if that makes sense. So I'm trying to like have 2 to 3 hours of working out somehow. And then I pepper with my fiance and I don't know, just play with the ball. But I try to mimic what my day would look like overseas just so I don't lose touch.
And one more question. From being on so many different teams, like from playing before college to Nebraska to Tennessee and pro and all the different Olympic teams and stuff, what's it like adapting to new teammates and different coaches and things like that? Like, was it difficult for you, or how did that go?
I think like going into each new pro season or each new team, you never really know what to expect or like how things are going to be. And so that can be really challenging. Even just going from playing in Italy to China, like different cultures, different expectations. But yeah, I think the one thing I always like try to hang my hat on is how hard I work. Like I know that I'm going to outwork everyone in the gym. And so I'll earn their respect. And like, even if I'm nervous to meet all the girls and like go into a season and I want to do really well, I just like try to focus on that thing. Like I'm going to work really, really hard in practice. My first year in Turkey, I was playing for Vakıfbank Sports Club. And if you guys don't know, Vakıfbank is one of, if not the best teams in the world. And that year we won every single cup, but I didn't actually play at all. I was sitting behind a Turkish outside who, it was like her last year, she was retiring and stuff. And so that was like really deflating. I guess my first like 3 months, I was like, what am I doing here? I'm all the way overseas. I'm not even playing. I'm away from everything. Like, I don't know why I'm here. And like, I remember I had like a breaking point where I just sat in the car and I like cried so hard because I was like, I don't know what I'm even doing. And then I just reset because I was like, I'm not gonna like let this take my power. I'm not gonna let it, take what I'm good at. And so I just was like, I'm gonna work really, really hard, and I'm gonna get the most of this experience. Like I'm gonna push the other team, and it's gonna make me better, kind of thing. And then I ultimately got asked back, and I re-signed for that team the next year, and was starting every match. And we won Club World Championships, and that was like the first Club World Championships I had ever won. And it was like just a really, really special moment because of all the work that was put in the year before.
Anyone have any other questions?
No. Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank
guys.
you.
This was
Could
fun.
everyone unmute and say thank you?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Your cat is
Bye,
so
guys.
cute.
Bye.